Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Beaufort Business Banter, where we take a little time every single week getting better acquainted with local business owners and people who are spearheading and leading local charities. I'm Will McCullough, and I'm the owner and broker in charge of Century 21 Coastal Town Realty, located at 83 Sam's Point Road on Ladies Island, and we are the sponsors for this program. My guest today is the amazing Rachel McBride.
Hi.
And Rachel is the CEO, would that be the right title for?
Founder, executive director, yes.
Founder, CEO, person in charge of the Helianthus project, which is an amazing local charity that's very unique. So if you haven't learned about it, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to hear about it. But before we get into that, let's just get to know you a little bit. So first off, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
I know this is always like an awkward scenario, but don't worry, no one's going to watch it anyhow. So it's not a big deal. But so Rachel, how long have you lived in and around the Beaufort area here?
December will mark 6 years.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. 6 years. And let's spouse, children, pets, anything about your family world that you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, all of the above. So I have a husband. He is active duty Marine Corps. He's been in for 19 years now. We have 3 girls.
Okay.
Y'all pray for my husband. And we have 2 dogs and 3 cats.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's great. So 6 years and quite a family. That's cool. What would you say if once again, something you feel comfortable sharing, but there are going to be people watching who probably already know you. Is there anything about you that nobody knows that you feel comfortable sharing? Which is a horrible question.
Yeah, right. I am deathly afraid of circuses, clowns.
Okay.
Anything, the music, the tents, all of I can't do it. Can't do them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely afraid of all things circus.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. We didn't know that. So that's good. All right. So before we get into the Helianthus project, one more question. I mean, I know you pretty well. I consider you a friend, and we're involved in some business things together. What would you say is? There's probably several, but if you could pick something that you would consider like a secret to your success, what's something that you think is a secret to your success so far in life?
Always being grateful for what you've got. And prayer and fasting.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's really good. Well, thanks for letting us get to know you a little bit better. So we came in today to talk about the Helianthus project. And just in general, I mean, that's a name people may not know what it means. Just tell us a little bit about what is it, what do you do, and what's the Helianthus project all about? Yeah,
so Helianthus stands for sunflower. It's a scientific term for a sunflower.
Sunflower.
Yep, so our logo is a sunflower. But we have the mission of assisting minor and youth victims of human trafficking within the Lowcountry area. And there's really kind of the 3 pillars that go along with the project as a whole, and that's our education, our advocacy, and our healing. So you and many others already know we do our education to local businesses and local individuals to train them on what human trafficking is, how it looks, how to report it, et cetera. We have a lot of advocacy that we do. We set up booths, we set up different volunteer opportunities, and we also share survivor stories with permission that we've been given to share those to really help advocate for them and the cause. And then lastly, healing, which was going to be Esther's house, to set up basically that safe haven where these individuals can go when they've been removed from that abusive and toxic situation, where they can decompress, heal, and move forward with their life.
So you mentioned human trafficking here in the Lowcountry. So first off, how big of a problem is that? Because that's not something top of mind. People, I mean, you think of, we're all aware of human trafficking and what a problem is, but it's not something we think of from a local perspective. How incorrect is that assumption?
It does happen here. It is on a growing scale as well. It happens a lot more than people think. So just last year, when you look at the statistics that the state task force pushed out, the Lowcountry wasn't on the heat map. And that was a bit of an uphill battle for us to make people aware that it is happening. And that is when we launched our Light the Way in the Trafficking, anti-human trafficking training. And so when the statistics came out this year for 2023, the Lowcountry, which had never been on the heat map before, was now on the heat map. And now we are actually 3rd place in cases by area for human trafficking.
Wow.
So out of 498 cases overall, 460 of those were children.
Okay.
And that's for South Carolina as a whole.
Understood. And of the heat map, you call it, we're 3rd in the state of an area as far as volume of this type of potential trafficking.
Correct.
And you had mentioned, I think you've mentioned either just now a little bit or in the past, training or little talks that can you set up a time with a business or something like that to come in and tell people what to be aware of, or share anything now? Like what should we know about being aware of human trafficking in the area and signs to watch for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always open to offering trainings, and they are all free of charge to local businesses and individuals. We will go in, it's a lunch and learn, so we'll bring in food, which is a great incentive to your team, and just train you on it. One of the big misconceptions that there is that we always touch on is people think that kidnapping is the #1 way it happens. And actually, as of last year, that only made up about 3% of your overall cases. Not to say it doesn't happen, but it's not the most common way. About 97% of the time, it is somebody that person already knew and already trusted, whether it's a family member or it was like for a job employment or something like that.
Okay. So let me try to lay this out as a layman. Essentially, Helianthus Project, you are spearheading from a local perspective. You're a nonprofit, is that correct?
Yes.
That spearheads from a local perspective, both combating and trying to prevent human trafficking and make people aware of that and signs. And then you're also working on towards trying to assist survivors of human trafficking, right?
Correct.
And I heard you mention a minute ago Esther's House. Can you tell us a little bit about what that all is?
Yep. So Esther's House, like I mentioned, is going to be basically the safe haven for these children that come to us that have been removed from their trafficking situation. This is going to be where we provide in-home education. We'll provide transportation to therapies, doctor's appointments, etc., outings in a controlled environment so that these kids and these teens have a chance to just be kids and be teenagers and have a chance to decompress, which is the most important part. And really, it is providing that safe area that will allow them to peel back the layers of the trauma that they have endured to allow them to heal.
Okay. So obviously, I think human trafficking is something that gets a lot of national attention, but once again, not from a hyper-local. And you're the one that's now spearheading that locally, which is just a phenomenal thing. Other than being able to maybe come in and educate people, I think if you see something, say something is probably it in a nutshell. But what are those things that you see? I think that's probably what you educate on people. How else can the local community help you help prevent and assist survivors of human trafficking? What can the community do for you?
Well, and the #1 thing is to get educated, because education is the #1 power source that these victims have, because they can't get themselves out of these situations. They are solely reliable on our community as a whole to witness and to report and to rescue.
Excellent.
But, we're always looking for volunteers. So we're always trying to recruit individuals who share the same passion and want to just genuinely help, and it comes from a good place, to always help us with what we've got. We've got tons of events that are always going on, and it's nice not to have to split into 12 different people. So
understood. So education, volunteers, and honestly, it drives everything. I assume fiscal assistance. You mentioned Esther's House, which is a home that you want to be able to house these survivors and help them. That ain't free.
No,
so I know you do lots of things for fundraising.
Yes.
And as we talk, Rachel's information and her contact info and all that is going to be up on the screen. But if you want to get involved in this and do anything to assist, whether from having her come in and talk to your people about what to watch for, whether you want a volunteer opportunity, or if you'd like to help fiscally support her in different events and stuff she goes, it all goes towards assisting this. Please reach out to Rachel, and we can do that. Let's switch this a little bit here, because obviously we do real estate, and this is the whatever. Is there anything with regard to the real estate market this is weird? There's no way to segue this, by the way. Hey, it's good talking to you about human trafficking. Would you like to buy a house? But that's what we're going to do.
But that's exactly what we need. So yes,
it is. So what can I? Obviously, this isn't scripted. There's no notes or anything, but just top of mind, anything real estate related that I can kind of answer for you, and I'll do my best with it. Or I'll make it up. One of the two.
So I guess and we've talked. We need a house that is large enough and capable enough to do what we need to do.
Okay.
And so, what's a 2-story, 5-bedroom looking like?
Okay.
So kind of in there.
So let's break Rachel's question down for a second, because we all heard what it is that she does and what she needs to get, which is this home eventually for Esther's House. That's the thing, is to have a place people go. Yeah. So I'm going to speak in generalities right now, because you as a business owner, you may have a reason for a property that's not just, I want to buy a home to live in. So as opposed to saying, what's a 5-bedroom home look like right now? Well, that could be X amount of dollars. It could be in this neighborhood. If you need a structure and it's for a commercial or a charity business, there's a lot of things we have to look at besides just here it's on the MLS. This is great. One of the things that we're going to look at is we're going to want to have a due diligence period where we're looking at and getting specific answers to very specific questions. You may find, first off is, do you have your financing in line? Do we have, as a corporate entity, approval to buy this that I can show to a potential seller? Yes, we have, just like when you're buying a home for yourself, but now there's a little more involved. We have the ability to purchase this property, Helianthus Project LLC or whatever. So something that shows that your business entity is fiscally able to purchase this that you can give to the seller when you make an offer. So pre-approval, just like when you're buying a home. So that's one thing somebody wants to get in line when they start getting ready to make a purchase for commercial purposes like this. The other big thing though, and this is a little tougher, the missing piece is we may find the perfect structure, the perfect home, but maybe in that neighborhood, they don't allow or want something like that to happen. They don't want people coming and going. It could be short-term rentals, or it could be as noble of a purpose as yours is, that might not be allowed in ABC neighborhood. So we've got to do a detailed search of the covenants, the zoning, make sure it not only fits your needs from a fiscal and lifestyle perspective, but also it's permissible from a state, local, and community government perspective to do that. So the answer to your question is what that looks like is something you and I will continue to talk about more specifically. But speaking in generalities, you want to get your financing in line, have all that ready to go, and then start working with somebody who really knows the local market that can help you out finding that property and identifying, can what I want and need to do for my business be done there? And if those answers are affirmative, then we can move forward. So speaking generalities, does that help answer your question?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I made that up too. So.
Oh, good.
Well, we're fixing to wrap this up, and you've done absolutely awesome. I know you were, like everybody, no one's used to talking on camera. It's a little nervous, but you did spectacular. But I want to make sure there's no stones left unturned. Was there anything, because I asked questions and you got to go, but is there anything like, oh darn, I wish I'd mentioned this? And it's okay, it's not a quiz if there's not. But is there anything else that you wanted to leave us with, question-wise or information-wise?
Information-wise, yeah, there is one more thing. People are usually surprised to hear that we are 100% volunteer run. So there is no paychecks, nobody receives anything. All the funding that comes into the project goes and stays in the project. And so just so that people can feel more comfortable and have that transparency if they do decide to give financially, to understand that it's not going to anyone personally, it's going to the project and to these children.
Excellent, excellent. And we have seen, without going into detail, because I can't speak intelligently about it, nor should I, but we have seen in local news recently, there has been some mentions of issues with people who were allegedly involved in human trafficking. I would hypothesize that that's maybe a tip of an iceberg and there's more going on. If you want to get involved and help with that most worthy cause, this is the individual that you need to speak to. Once again, Rachel McBride of the Helianthus Project. Her info's up there. And once again, if you ever happen to have any questions or are curious about potentially buying in the area or selling in the area, or even if you're curious about maybe starting your own career in the local real estate industry, I would love to speak to you. So my info's up there too. Once again, I'm Will McCullough. I'm the owner and broker in charge of Century 21 Coastal Town Realty, located at 83 Sam's Point Road on Ladies Island, not downtown, but Ladies Island. And I would love to speak to you. And we did it, so that is a wrap. Good job, thanks.